Let's open our eyes again. So I want to read to you a quote. I usually don't like to quote things, but I thought it was so well written that I couldn't say it better myself. This is a quote from Sir John Woodruff, and he was one of the first people to really codify a text that was an Indian text called Chakra Nirjuna. And it translates like this line, this ancient line. And he says she, as in when he's talking about the she, he's talking about the Kundalini energy itself. It's translated as it's pronounced Chitrini. And that is, he's talking about the chi, the prana that's flowing through the body. She is beautiful like a chain of lightning and fine like a lotus fiber, and shines in the minds of sages. She is extremely subtle, the awakener of pure knowledge, the embodiment of all bliss, whose true nature is pure consciousness. Fairy tales? They date this text about 4,000 years old. A chain of lightning and fine like a lotus fiber. You could think of it like these fine little strands, these whisper silks that create the body and run through the body. It sounds so much like the meridian lines of traditional Chinese medicine. And in the Qabalah, they say the universe was created, it comes into existence by a lightning flash. And it runs straight down through the body, like a zigzag, crown to tail, like a chain of lightning. And they're using these similar words, this lightning flash, to create and embody the human life. In a similar context, when the chi is moving and circulating through us and it's dancing, we hear a lot of talk about the serpent energy. Literally, Kundalini is the serpent. And it says that when you're starting to make this journey, that the Kundalini is coiled 3.5 times around the base of the tail, at the Muladhara, at the bottom. And if you don't pay any attention to this stuff, you don't care about it at all, it's dispersing. It's kind of extending down and out into the world. And so you're still working with this stuff. You're still interacting with this stuff as it comes out into the world because you're just seeing it as outside of you. You're living out your inner dreams, your inner worlds as projections onto the physical reality. So what we do as a yogi or as a spiritual, whatever you want to call yourself, is you're starting to say, okay, wait a minute. What if I thought about it as actually inside of me? I took responsibility for this projection that I keep putting out into the external world and saw it as something that I'm actually creating. It's running through me. And when that happens, that recognition happens, the chi starts to, the prana will start to spiral back up, and it will enliven and animate these different centers, hopefully bringing them to balance. And it kind of pushes out new challenges for you to overcome, because you kind of transcend out of the old patterns. You move on, in a sense. Otherwise, it's just going out and you're kind of living out that routine, asleep in the matrix, as the theory would have it, as my personal experience would have it as well. The more I understand this, it actually starts to take care of itself. What I thought was this big battle, this thing I was having to deal with in life, I ended up seeing from a perspective was so much higher. I felt so much bounty and fullness inside that it was simple. It was easy to choose a different response. Instead of having a conflict, instead of having a headbutting competition, I had the sense of like, oh, it was a joy, it was a laughter. And the entire relationship changes. And it's happened in many elements of the life as you work your way up. The Muladhara, the base one, things that are associated with are, it's your sense of security, it's your sense of feeling safe. It's at the very bottom. If you don't feel safe in your own home, even have a home, it's very hard to do the work. They say that that's at the fundamental level. Then you go up to below the navel. The second chakra would be the relationship to sexuality and to feel the intimacy, the touch of a loved one. if that's not balancing, it depletes itself. The kundalini inside of us is not full, and we kind of reach back out into the world to try and fill it up again. And usually when you're reaching out to try and gather the chi from outside of you, the experience leaves you lacking. It leaves you wanting it again, or wishing it hadn't happened. Whereas if you can learn to bring the energy within, feel nourished, then the interaction that you have, your home feels much safer. Your relationship to your loved one feels much more nourishing, kinder. Third chakra, right here, the solar plexus. This is one of the key gateways for most people. This is where the world kind of ends for many people. The people who are asleep in the matrix, you could say. They don't get past this gateway. There's a lion guarding it, they say. That is the mythos of it. Right here, the chi, as it's spiraling up, will manifest as this ferocious beast. And what it's doing, it's protecting the heart, mythologically. It's protecting the heart. It's kind of guarding the cave entrance to the heart. And it's staying there saying, look, if you can't come into the heart, we're not going to let these, if these lower three aren't balanced, there's no way we're going to let you perceive the compassion and sweetness of your own heart. It's just, it's almost like, it's like a major threshold. That's the word. Threshold is the word. Same thing between the Muladhara and the second chakra. The root, the earth, and the second chakra, the waters, lives a Leviathan. The Leviathan's a biblical name for it. In the chakra system, you have Ganesha, is this big elephant. And you can even think of in the Taoist mythos, it's a sea monster. It's not translated as Leviathan, but it's a sea monster. And this thing is it's the chi kind of being eaten up, pulled up, and it becomes a monster. Why? Because it kind of is propelling you or hurtling you back into the world to have to deal with these crappy situations you don't want to have to deal with anymore, or that you're looking to figure maybe to move on from, or to, I just wish this time would be better. I wish that partner would be a little bit sweeter. I'm looking for a person like this. And that Leviathan, that monster, is made up of the imbalances in the subtle field. Same thing, the lion is made up of all the fears you have from the third and second chakras. The third chakra is your work in the world. It's how you relate to others, people that aren't sexual partners or potential sexual partners. They are, it's like a different sort of relationship to other people. And those can be just as combative or conflictory. Same thing, the lion is made up of those fears, of those anxieties, of those resentments. And so when you get up, your consciousness is trying to move through your energy body. You see that lion, you're like, oh crap, forget it. I'll just deal with the external world, please. It's much prettier. At least I know how bad it is in the external world. You go in the inner world, you see the lion, you're like, holy moly, get me out of here. Or you're paddling in the waters and the Leviathan's coming up from the ground. Oh, you don't want to see that beast. But the cool part is that that's where you can change it. They even say that the lion is an esoteric concept. It's also like the behemoth in the Qabalah, in the Bible. They call the behemoth and the Leviathan. And when we look at the Bible from an esoteric, as a mysticism, as opposed to an actual account of history, or however else you would interpret the Bible, but you look at it as a projection of what's going on internally. They say that the Messiah, the golden spirit, which resides in the heart, this is where the guardian angel would live, your highest self, your true self would live. That the behemoth and the Leviathan have a conflict that comes together, and they end up killing each other. And they literally become the feast for the Messiah. The Messiah comes down from the heavens, down from the above, and the first sustenance that he or she would take in is the flesh of the Leviathan and the behemoth. So what does that mean when we look at it from a mystical perspective, on an internal symbology? Is that the conflicts that you're having in your Leviathan, the conflicts that the lion or the behemoth are creating in your world, these things are your lessons. They are the things that are desiring to be purified by you in this time, in this lifetime. These are your challenges, so that your highest version of yourself, your true self, has a purpose. If there's no food for the true self to take in, it can't embody. It can't get into this plane. It's going to want to just stay up in the heavens, stay up in the astral. So that's what I mean with, are you taking the personal responsibility to make it inward? Oh man, I got that same crappy boss again. I'm in the same relationship, whatever it may be. And you just keep projecting, you keep throwing it out. Oh, if only it was like this. If only they would have given me that chance. Are you sure they didn't give you that chance? Are you sure it wasn't right there for your taking? That's the difference. When you make that internal recognition that these are things that you're pushing out into the world, the way in which we relate to the world, then that's when the fight happens, or the battle between the Leviathan and the Behemoth. And you're starting to purify these different elements. So that's like kind of like the biblical way of, the Kabbalistic way of looking at it. From a Hindu chakra system, they actually see them as petals. Petals that are emanating out of the spine. Muladhara chakra, it's mostly red. It's not completely red. And it has these petals that come off of it. And each petal has a symbol to it, a character, and it has a significant part of the root energy. It has an element of it. And we're not going to go into it because it's just theory unless you actually experience it. But what I want to think of it as, remember how I said we're not talking about particles, hard, dense matter. We're talking about waves of information. A lot of this is related to geometry. And it's like a waveform that's spiraling out from that center, from that seed center, and it's making up the world. It's reaching out. Literally, the chakra is reaching out. It's dense. There's a bija. There's a seed here. That's the word in Sanskrit, is bija. It's the seed of it. And then you have the petals. And then it actually reaches way out and into the world and says, ooh, who's out there around in my field that will help me figure out, help me deal with this petal? Maybe this petal's weak. Petal's wilted. And you got 4 in the Muladhara, and they got all different numbers, 6, 8, 4, all, as you go up. And I'm not going to go into those. But it's saying that there's different qualities. It's complex. It's not just a simple, this is about your sense of security. No. It's much bigger than that. It's unique. It's your own experience. And they're even interrelated. As these petals, these waveforms, go up higher. And same thing. This one has petals on it as well. Hey, these actually look pretty good. Got a couple chuckles, which means you agree or you think I'm crazy. They don't look very good. Same thing, these wave petals spin out. And you see how the petals are coming out of your energy field. Now the reds are overlapping with the blues, and you can think of them as three-dimensional. They're coming out from the spine. They're reaching out into the field. And so at this height, it's reaching out. It's grabbing onto the sexual creative energies of those around you. And how far, who knows how far it reaches. And then you reach out from the root. It grabs onto a different sense of security and financial stability. Reaching out from the heart, it's that sense of, when you have like an alpha confrontation or so with somebody, like a headbutting sort of who's in charge here kind of interaction. That comes up from the third chakra. And these things are interweaving. You get in a big group of people, how come some people are connecting and some people, you just never even notice them. You never even get to learn their name or their story. Because we're being attracted to, on a very subtle level, people who are ready to also want to work on that same relationship. Talking about romance is usually the best one because everyone can relate to it. You have that initial kinetic fire with somebody. Oh, I'm instantly in love. And that's because the petals that were weak in your chakra had a very specific combination with the petals that were weak in their chakra, and you had this instant chemistry sense of love. The chakra got a surge of prana, a surge of kundalini. And I said, oh, that feels great. And now you're instantly in love. But what happens is because we don't look at it maybe necessarily from an internal level, it's like, oh, they're the one. They did that for me. That's the one. It's outside of me again. this new job, it's so great. This is the job. I'm finally having my passion in my work. At first. You see, it's a magnetism. The laws of physical nature often we are learning them from the laws of the subtle nature. So positive and negative, laws of gravity, electromagnetism, okay? They're yin and yang forces. Reaching out, drawing back in. Going out, meeting this person, okay, now I've given away. Oh, I want to keep reaching out more. I want the chi to flow through me again. Oh, but maybe we didn't balance it. The balance is learning to also receive inward, to feel the chi come within your own body, the prana. And so those like chemistry, those puppy love, like instant relationships where it's like so deeply in love, they usually can kind of fall short because the chi is now depleted. You both used up this explosive amount of chi, and then there was no sustainable prana that was being re-nourished and refilled in. Not always. Sometimes it actually works out just great. The processing, the chakra petals lined up just right. You both took the time to do the internal work, and now the petals start to vibrate and pulse in perfect harmony. And then you're climbing that ladder for yourself. You're moving up into deeper and deeper levels of subtlety. Bija, the next Sanskrit word that's pretty helpful is dristi. Dristi is the point of reference. It's the point of view you're taking. Again, far out in the edges of the petals, you could put your drishti there. It's the external world that's creating my experience. I can't control how much taxes I pay or what it's like to have what my partner does. That's far out in the petals, far out in the belief that the external world is its own concrete thing separate from you. The drishti's far away. When you get into the bidra, you tap into the essence of one chakra. Look, now you can fill up that fluid. You can push out through the petal completely. That's a better drishti in my opinion. That source, you can expand it. You can feel in that inner world. See, it's not actually in the body. I said that earlier. If you sliced out, you looked for it, you did what do you call that when they
Autopsy.
Autopsy, right? And dissect, right? If you dissect the body, you don't find the chakra. You find nerve ganglia condensed in certain areas that kind of relate to the different chakras, but you don't actually find a flower petal inside your body. But I'll say from experience that with enough meditation and enough just listening, just feeling out, you'll start to feel energy in the body, in the complex, this body-mind-sense complex. And if you get even subtle enough, you'll even see it in the mind. You'll see the colors. You'll see the lion. You'll see the dragon. You'll see the phoenix as a form of the chi field, moving through the body, trying to break up chi, trying to move around and get the system, the body-mind, flowing freely. So, to me, your drishti is very important. It's where are you putting your focus? Where are you putting your sense of view? Is it on the internal core channel of the being? In the yogic system, they call it the Sushumna, which is a channel that runs straight down from your crown to your tail. And it has different densities, like concentric rings, like this. Okay, it's a central channel that runs from your crown to your tailbone. And it's a tube. Okay, so you see here, it's like a tube. And the different densities all have different relationships. So again, it's just trying to reiterate that it's a very complex system. And the more we can go inward, make our drishti closer to the inner sense, the better chance we stand of figuring out what are we projecting onto the external world and how is the external world actually happening. Is that person actually that way? Are they such a jerk all the time because they say this? Or is that just what I'm choosing to hear? We're going to do a little mental exercise for a second here, and then we're going to take a 2-minute break or something, okay? So sit at the edge of your chair, close your eyes. I want you to picture a bear. Picture a bear in your mind. And it's a short story, but you can make up any story you want. Tell yourself a short little story maybe even a clip of a story about a bear. Any setting, any characters you want. Just make the core subject the bear. And it's okay if your thoughts even wander a little bit. A couple folks just walking in. We're having a story about a bear in our mind. It's a great point to step into. Add the characters, add the setting. Almost see if the story can happen for you. Not so much that you're creating it or writing it, but that just sitting with yourself, you can tell yourself a tale of a bear. Not a bear's tail, T-A-L-E. Okay, so you get some little clip of a bear, a little short parable. Now, how many people had additional character in the story besides the bear? Okay, half the group. How many people had more than one additional character in the story besides the bear? Just one additional character. It was you. Okay? Oh, okay, there we go. So more than one character in the group. How many people had the bear outside? Okay, common experience. Not everybody. Again, just half the group. So my point is, we all told a different story of that bear. We all related to that bear in a different way. What decides? I give you free rein to think about the bear in however you want. What decides the type of story you tell? How many had the bear happy? Not everybody. Like half the group, a quarter of the group. How many people had the bear sad? How many people didn't even have a bear in the story? Everybody. My point being is that with the influence, I tell you to tell a story about a bear, everyone has their own subjective experience and relationship to this bear story. That is the different parts of the subtle body reaching out, and it starts to shape every interaction we have. That certain part of the subtle body is craving some attention, some influence on the world. And so maybe you want to have a certain experience of a bear. You want the bear to feel free and happy and enjoying nature and unbothered by man-made society or whatever it is. And you have an impression about man versus nature, and that shapes the way in which you can tell a bear story. And so, again, is it so much that nature needs to change or man needs to change, or is that the way in which we relate to it? You can't even experience the beauty of that bear story on your own without any right? It's coming from beyond us, to influencing our minds. It's not actually a real story, but yet we're creating that story. And I'm saying that the stories that we create are coming through, and they're processing through that field, and they're creating the way we end up living our lives. It's like the big dream. That was a little dream story about a bear. The big dream story is the same, happening in the same way. Okay? You can medal on that or think about that for a second. We'll take a 2-minute break.